Finally, there is now a technology that allows you to sit at home and make your face more attractive. That too for free. Just look at this girl's photo. She used a special technique to significantly improve her jawline without any plastic surgery. And without spending money, there are now many similar examples in which people have achieved promising results with this simple technique. And mind you, without any surgery or any invasive treatment. Now, you might have seen several videos like this before as well online, which scientifically claim that the shape of the face can be changed. So, what exactly is this technique and how does it work? Well, step by step, with full detail, we will find out ahead. But for now, just understand this much, that in this technique, basically you have to hold a tongue position in a simple way. When you are either not eating, speaking, or doing anything with your mouth, and then keep it in this position. Just like weightlifting seems to change the shape of your body, in the same way, this technique seems to change the shape of your jawline as well. This exercise is called mewing, which an orthodontist, Dr. John Mew, pioneered 50 years ago to promote proper teeth alignment. His claim was that with the help of this technique, not only can normal people benefit, but it also delivers results to those individuals whose teeth were literally protruding forward. He stated that many people with facial attractiveness problems like small chin, teeth protruding forward, nose appearing larger, or sometimes neck jutting out forward. All this happens due to the position of the tongue in the mouth and improper breathing. And mewing technique exactly fixes this mistake and makes your face more attractive. Now, if a doctor claims this, and many doctors have used this technique to treat several patients as well. So like in all these cases, will this also work as effectively in our case? And if yes, then how is this technique ultimately used? But first, you may wonder that our genes directly impacts our face. You may have this question too. If we inherit so much from our parents, is it even possible to change that? Can we completely manipulate our genes or DNA by ourselves? And if this is even possible, how will we know if we are doing it correctly or not? This technique literally changes the shape of your face. Is it safe to do this at home without any expert supervision? What if our face gets deformed, and what if we end up looking unattractive? Well, to answer all these questions, we have to scientifically understand the concept behind this entire process of mewing. Like many doctors and videos claim whether it actually works in reality. They say half knowledge is dangerous. And for this very reason, my only request through this video is that you get complete scientific knowledge on this entire topic and then proceed with science-provided insights, so that you can make decisions about your life and your face in an informed manner. So let's start with a basic question. Before anything else, what is an attractive face according to science, and what are its features? In many ways, attractiveness is subjective, like how someone may find a partner with a beard appealing, while someone else may prefer a clean-shaven look, or someone may like dark skin tones, while others prefer white skin tones. But there are some universal standards of attractiveness, which is why people find certain specific features of a face consistently appealing across different cultures and times. For example, symmetrical faces are often considered attractive, and studies suggest that newborn babies tend to look longer at symmetrical faces. And no one teaches a newborn baby about a beautiful or attractive face. Similarly, features like a well-defined jawline or proportionate facial features are often universally admired. However, these standards are not fixed, as they can vary with time and cultural influences over a period of millions and millions of years, because of which our brain's wiring has developed in such a way that we find two fundamental features universally attractive. There is no subjectivity in this. Every human instinctively finds these features universally attractive. The first feature is facial composition or facial proportions, and the second feature is facial symmetry. Have you ever thought about why a lion, despite being so ferocious, still looks so beautiful? Have you ever wondered why a Chihuahua dog, despite their small size, are so weird? What's the secret? You know a Chihuahua's face doesn't feel easy on eyes. Why is that? Well, that is exactly because of facial composition and proportion. See, for humans, the science behind attractive facial composition is the average of facial proportions of all human faces. That means a face in extreme, like a very large nose or a very small nose, very large mouth or very small eyes. Such extreme features usually don't appear attractive to us. And the reason behind this is average features suggest healthy genes in a potential partner, while abnormal features, whether extra large or extra small, signal a deviation from good genetic health, raising questions in our minds. And in mate selection, as you might guess, we tend to stay as safe as possible. And that's why humans have this tendency to find average features the most attractive. Now in this, the animal faces which match most with the proportion of an attractive human face. Those faces appear more attractive to us, and the proportion of animal faces that deviate from the proportion of an attractive human face seem different to us. Basically, we subconsciously scan every animal's face against the parameters of a human face, and if the proportion does not match with a healthy human face, it appears disfigured or weird to us. Now, in the case of a lion's face, its features and proportions match with those of an attractive human face, and that's why it appears attractive to us. While a chihuahua's weak chin and abnormal big eyes give the appearance of a disfigured human face, and that's why we find it unattractive. Humans have an innate ability to recognize human faces and emotions in other beings and objects, known as pareidolia. Many animals, such as cats, cheetahs, dogs, and bears, may be dangerous, but they exhibit baby features, like big eyes, soft skin, round body, and playfulness, which makes our brain relate to babies and triggers oxytocin release, which enhances our nurturing instincts. And this phenomenon is scientifically called the baby schema. And this is also an interesting phenomenon linked to facial composition, which makes someone's face appear attractive or unattractive to us. Okay, now here's another very interesting point about attractiveness. So we talked about the right proportions, right? Do you ever think that why some females create extra size artificially, whether through breast or butt implants? I mean, by doing so, are they really disbalancing their proportions, right? They are becoming unnatural. Then why does it look attractive in many cases? Why does this happen? Remember to be considered attractive. One more factor is quite important in humans. We talked about right proportions, right? So why? Some girls get breast or butt implants to achieve extra large size. Well, this is because humans and all animals have strong sexual characteristics, which create strong attraction. This is called sexual attraction, and it plays a role in sexual selection. While not universal, gender differences exist between sexes. For boys, sexual maturity indicators include broad shoulders, strong jawline, muscular body, and deep voice. For girls, indicators are wider hips, breasts, soft skin, and high-pitched voice. Differences in male and female attractiveness are often referred to as sexual dimorphism, and the more pronounced these differences are, the more they can improve attractiveness in the eyes of opposite sex, but to some, afterwards, people feel something is amiss. For example, if a young woman suddenly displayed a significantly enhanced breast implant, it might evoke a feeling of cringe or shock, right? Or if a boy has significantly enhanced his muscles, it might look a bit unusual, right? Because at some point, if physical features become too exaggerated after surgery, they might stop looking human-like altogether. This is the feeling when you feel something is human, like yet not right. That feeling is called the uncanny valley hypothesis, which basically describes how things can feel fear or even creepy to people after seeing or experiencing natural yet unnatural things. Before starting this discussion on facial exercises, let's talk about second feature, which is facial symmetry. A fascinating study published in the Elsevier journal was conducted. In this study, researchers have taken original human facial photos and processed to create symmetrical versions of the images. And then they showed these two types of photos to their test subjects, without telling them which one is the original and which one is the created symmetrical version. They observed that most subjects were attracted to the symmetrical face over original ones. Scientists concluded after the study that this preference is because facial symmetry is somehow associated with better quality of our genes. Basically, if someone has any deformity or parasite infection in their developmental years, their body might not grow normally, and asymmetrical features develop. Now, everyone's face is not 100% symmetrical, but the more symmetrical it is, it indicates good genetic health on a biological level. And that's why we find such faces more attractive. And all of this is instinctual on a subconscious level. So it's not like someone is deliberately judging someone else. So what do we understand from all this? What is science trying to say? All in all, if you want to appear attractive, your facial proportions should be closer to the average human face, not extreme features. Sexual features should be slightly enhanced, and the face and body should be as symmetrical as possible. Now, another interesting concept of attractiveness is the concept of rarity. Have you ever thought, why does someone look better with dimples? Or why does a small mole on the lips make them look better? Or maybe someone has a unique feature like a slight tilt in their smile? Well, that is because our brain perceives such rare features as attractive or unique due to certain psychological factors. In a psychology experiment, 2 jars were displayed. One jar contained a lot of cookies, while the other jar had only 1 cookie, and participants were asked to choose. They were asked which cookie they found more attractive or which one they were more inclined to eat. And you would be surprised, but most of the people chose the cookie from the jar with the single cookies, thinking it was more attractive. How cool is that, right? And that's because scarcity makes one more attractive, and that is why we don't like people who cling to us, while mysterious people have a dark appeal. But once again, in balance, guys, attractiveness often lies in moderation, right? Now you must be thinking, how would our face look? This completely depends on the genes we inherit from our parents. Right. So, if the composition or symmetry of our face is naturally wrong, is it even possible to change it without surgery? Well, it turns out your facial appearance depends as much on your genes as it does on external factors like your breathing technique and eating habits. For example, among all animals, humans are the only ones whose facial structure has chins. This doesn't exist in any other species, not even in our closest cousins like chimpanzees and gorillas, or our direct ancestors like early Homo erectus. Does this chin give our faces a unique human-like appearance? But guess what? With one mistake, you can push your chin back, disrupting the proportion, and it can make you unattractive. This mistake, which many people unknowingly commit, mouth breathing. You know, if your upper teeth are shifted forward, or they are in a crooked position, or your jawline is not proper, all of this usually happens because of mouth breathing. Now, which facial features depend on our genes, and which ones? On an external environment, the best way to understand this is to observe the monozygotic twins since childhood. While growing up, the features that remain almost the same are mostly dependent on genes, and the features that appear different are dependent on external factors. Now, in a study conducted on the facial features of twins, an interesting observation was made. This was revealed that the upper half portion of our face is largely dependent on genes. But the lower half of the face depends more on external factors. And in the case of these particular twins, one twin's habit of breathing and the way they kept their mouth open or closed made their jawline appear different from the other twin. Now, this happens because mouth breathing, especially in our developmental ages, restricts the growth of our lower jaw. Actually, when we keep our mouth closed, our tongue naturally rests on the upper palate in our mouth. This is because structurally it helps us avoid 2 problems. This blocks the opening of our mouth, preventing us from breathing through mouth. Secondly, it allows our buccinator muscles to put an inward pressure on our upper jaw, which provides pressure to shape the U structure into a V, and this pressure forces our teeth out. Now in this, the resting position of our tongue also balances these inward forces, which keeps the structure of our jaw intact. It means that the resting position of your tongue is so important. Now in this case, if you have asthma or allergies since childhood or any such respiratory disease, then what do? Obviously, you will try to breathe through your mouth, and well, guess what? Eventually. This is where your face starts to change, because the different forces on the face, instead of balancing each other, are now applying a net inward force. But it does not stop over here. When you breathe regularly through your mouth, it prevents you from keeping your mouth closed naturally, and also your tongue. Instead of clocking, your mouth now starts to rest on the lower position. Now, what is the problem in this particular position? If your teeth, especially these incisors, if they do not get the forces from the opposing teeth in the right incisors in the front, then the teeth can become longer like a rabbit without any hindrance, which is referred in dentistry language as over-eruption of teeth. They do not allow your jaw to close properly, and eventually, when you try to chew food from the side molars, your lower jaw has to move back repeatedly. And when this exceeds a certain limit, this temporal mandibular joint that attaches your lower jaw to the skull gets locked in this position, which causes your chin and jawline to appear in a distorted way. Sometimes when your lower jaw and the tongue resting on it tend to go back then, just like your nose. The air is blocked there, and to free it, we feel the need to tilt our neck forward. So all in all, with the simple habit of breathing through the mouth, your upper jaw shape get affected and teeth protrude forward, your lower jaw get pushed back, causing an overgrowth of the front teeth. And even your neck started tilting forward. And ultimately, your overall facial structure starts appearing somewhat different with no prominent chin and jawline, so now it's time for next stop. As we saw earlier, with mewing, many people changed their habits and altered their facial structure. So how did this miracle happen? Well, look, what happens in this case is that the skull in the female cases tends to grow till 16 years. And in the case of males, it keeps growing from 18 till about 21 years of age. And after this, growth seems to slow down. At this time, the lower jaw also continues to grow gradually and shifts forward. Meaning, due to the theory of orthotropics, if you correct your posture at the right time and improve your breathing habits, your jawline and chin can align and improve again. Basically, is that branch of science that strictly deals with the help of exercise techniques, breathing, and posture improvements. It reshapes and remolds the face. And orthodontics, on the other hand, is the branch that uses mechanical braces to remodel the face. Now, to follow the orthotropics mewing technique, we just have to follow these 3 simple steps. Step number 1, wherever you rest your tongue while speaking, touch your tongue to that part of the roof of your mouth. Now, if the touch is correct, proceed further. Step number 2 is touch this and spot and firmly close your mouth, maintaining a blank face, and then whatever saliva is in your mouth, swallow it. Basically, your tongue should stick to the upper palate due to suction, only then it is right. Now, moving on to step number 3, this is basically to correct your neck. In this, you just have to tuck your chin back while maintaining the first 2 postures. Now, if you keep doing these 3 steps regularly, even when you're not talking or not eating, then within a few years or sometimes even months, you will start seeing promising results. As seen in all these transformational cases, now it is very important to consider that orthotropic treatment like mewing or other treatments often shows significant improvements in children as their bones are still malleable. In adult cases, it can take several years to see effects, and even then, there are fairly weak results, which raises the question of whether mewing can significantly change adult facial shape. Some women and their results are posted, but they do not provide the full explanation. So, if your age is 22 plus and your chin or jaw is weak, does that mean your overall facial shape cannot be improved? Is there any truth to this? Will it make you look more attractive? Can facial exercises benefit you? See, facial exercises can benefit you slightly, especially if your age is too much and you are starting to show signs of aging, like this scientific study suggests. Facial muscle toning can happen, and it is possible to increase the skin's elasticity. Appearance of scars can be better, and wrinkles can be reduced. If you are young, around 25 years of age, you can try mewing and face exercises, but the benefits you'll get are minimal. However, choosing the right exercises is crucial, as they provide the most benefits. To define the face more specifically. But before that, let's talk about what is the biggest tool in your case that will benefit you. Honestly speaking, only one: reducing body fat percentage. This will surprise many of you, and even those who are thin, if you reduce your body fat percentage. Maximum people feel like their chin or jaw is weak, but it is fat and soft tissues. Excess deposit that your face structure appears soft, weak, and less defined. This also happens in thin people too, because in India, skinny fat people are quite common nowadays. Body fat percentage is not dependent on your weight. Take this bodybuilder as an example. He is 120 kgs, but his body fat percentage is undoubtedly between 6 to 7%, which is much lower than your and my body fat percentage. For example, my body fat percentage is 16-18%. Actors need to be at least 10% body fat to appear chiseled for a grainy and muscular look. So just because your weight is 70 kilograms and you have a tucked-in stomach doesn't necessarily mean your body fat percentage is low. Maybe your body fat is 22%. And then you might think, I am thin, but my jawline is not looking sharp. Okay, In some people's cases, their jawline is naturally very sharp or their face is naturally narrow. So a little body fat percentage makes you attractive. Otherwise, you will look like you're malnourished. So ultimately, you will try to find what is the sweet spot of body fat percentage for your facial aesthetics. For example, recently, scientists from the University of Toronto conducted a study where they found that on the average individual cases, males having body mass index of 24 and females with body mass index of 19. They have a certain amount of healthy fat deposits, which makes them neither look too thin nor too overweight. It means that if you start calculating your body mass index using an online body mass index calculator, it will also give you an idea whether you need to reduce your body fat percentage or increase it, but ultimately let mirror be the ultimate judge. Because in these studies, the average is mentioned. If my face looks attractive at 12% body fat, then someone might look attractive at 15% or someone might look better at 20%. But generally, those who also have to define their features or want to make them look sharper. Reducing body fat percentage is the only solution. Now, talking about only exercises that can show a change on your face. There are two prominent exercises that target specific muscle groups. One is for jaw muscles or masseter muscles. The second is neck muscles. Basically, the idea here is simple, like you train your biceps to tone and define them. In a similar way, many chewing exercises can also bring toning and definition to your masseter muscles. So the point here is, masseter muscles are involved in chewing, which due to the consumption of soft food, modern youngsters are not developing strong jaw muscles these days. So if you include raw vegetables, fruits, carrots, or regularly chew gum to tone your masseter muscles, it can help you develop a chiseled jawline. But once again, here, body fat percentage should be low. Chewing gum regularly tones the masseter muscle, giving it a chiseled look. But yes, the body fat should be less else. It will cover the jawline and give it a soft and round appearance. The next is neck exercises. Broad-built neck on males give an aesthetic appearance and also sharpens in the jawline. Simple exercises, which include neck crunches or neck curls, chin-ups can benefit. There are many exercises, but be careful. In this matter, excessive exercise is not good. Heavyweight exercise can increase the risk of injury. And finally, friends, a last technique whose benefit is unfortunately available only for males. That is using beard to create illusion of an attractive face. It was found in a study that if the lower half of an unattractive face is covered with a beard, if you have a weak chin or jawline, then you can keep beard. Well-groomed beard can help enhance the dimensions of your chin instantly, making your lower face appear more attractive. You can literally use it to mask the imperfection in your lower face, which creates an aesthetic sense of illusion that you are an attractive person. Take Virat Kohli as an example. What exactly did Virat do to make his looks better? Number 1, reduce the number of body fat percentages, and the number 2, he styled his lower face with a stylish beard and made his face look at least 10 times more attractive. As you can see such examples where people enhanced their facial proportions through a beard and literally increased their attractiveness. So all in all, to look good, you just need a little bit of science knowledge. What do you say? In this, a good role is played by genetics and the rest depends on your brain. And the desire to put efforts, and in the end, look can only get you so far. Because ultimately, a good cover of a book grabs attention in the first glance. But at the end of the day, the content of the book will decide the extent of its impact and demand. How much effort and demand will there be for that book, and would you want to take it along with you or not? Optimize your looks the best you can, but don't get obsessed with it. Nothing is more successful and sexy than being confident in your own skin. Thank you for watching, friends. Take care. Jai Hind.